A warm welcome to Diski Talk with Luyolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, we discuss all things Dstv Premiership action as Mamelodi Sundowns do take on Supersport United. So, it is then the Pretoria Derby this coming Wednesday. So when we have a look at it then, the blue team will represent Supersport United and then the red team will represent Mamelodi Sundowns. So the last time out then, Supersport United did lose 2-1 to Marumo Gallants at home, and then Sundowns drew 0-0 away from home against Cape Town City. So this is a game where both teams will be looking for 3 points, as it also is a derby then, so there is that extra added incentive of bragging rights. But we do know that Mamelodi Sundowns have been the more dominant in recent years. However, this is a chance then for Supersport then to try and upset the apple cart, as Mamelodi Sundowns are undefeated and haven't conceded a goal within Dstv Premiership action. So when we have a look then at Supersport United, so this is a side that has been inconsistent. They started the season off very well, but as of late, they've had performances which haven't really been inspiring and they have been struggling. So with Kaitano Tembo then, he does love to institute a 4-4-2, so which at times, I must say, that becomes then his downfall, because his 4-4-2 then is a very rigid 4-4-2 then. It's not dynamic and it lacks imagination, as at times he would leave Sipho Mbule on the bench. And yeah, so when we have a look at the personnel then, in goals you've got Ronan Williams. At left back, the last time out, they started with Basera. Then you had two centre-backs in Mkwanazi and Ditlokwe. And then as the right back, you had Johannes. So when you have then a look at this back four, Luke Fleurs didn't play as he was still serving suspension. And yeah, this is a back four then that did concede 2 against Marumo Gallants. And I just think that at times when you don't play with familiar faces, considering that it was Johannes' first game for Supersport, it was quite a tricky game for him then. And when you have a look at it then, they did struggle. So I just think that going into the next encounter, especially against Mamelodi Sundowns, they'll be looking to be tight and yeah, just look then to be compact and look to communicate as well, as that's something I felt that they struggled with against Marumo Gallants. Moving on then, within the heart of midfield, you've got Mokoena and then you've got Don. So these two then at the heart of midfield, they are growing their relationship as a pair within the heart of midfield. So Don is the one then who does look to protect this back four and plays as the defensive midfielder. He does then, whenever they do have a chance to build up from the back, he will collect the ball and then look to advance it and progress it into Mokoena. When you have a look at Mokoena, then this is a player who goes box to box. So much quality that he possesses as he ticks numerous boxes. So we do know that he does possess quite the beautiful technique on him, and he does score those long-range goals. He does then look to progress the ball and institute that creative play from deep pockets of spaces for this Supersport United side. And then the last time out, they started with Manziba off the left, Lungu off the right, and then up front, Bradley Grobler and Gabuza. So that's what Kaitano Tembo likes to do. But let's just have a look at something here. So one thing I've come to notice is that Kaitano then likes to play with 2 strikers. But then how then can he get more out of the Supersport United side from a tactical perspective when we look at it from a creativity point of view? Because then they do struggle from that and they lack imagination. So I think going forward, what Kaitano Tembo could do is that he could look to institute a 3-5-2. So which would work very well for the personalities that he has. So a 2 then in Grobler and Gabuza, and then go then with a Basera as the left wing back, as the right wing back, go then with Keenan Phillips. So these are two wing backs then these are two fullbacks who like to get forward and then play those crosses. From a qualitative perspective, they do have that quality to deliver those balls. So occupy the width then in vertical zone 1 and vertical zone 5 respectively. Have then Mbule play as a 10 in his favored position, going through vertical zone 3. Have then Mokoena and Don as the 2, and then the back 3, you could then look to have Ditloko as the left-sided centre-back, as he is left-footed. Have then Mkwanazi, who would then play in the middle as he is comfortable on the ball. He would then play as the extra line of defense for the Supersport United side. He can also step up into midfield by virtue of the fact that he's comfortable on the ball. So he could look to start play from deep pockets of spaces, and then have Luke Fleurs, or you could even have Nhlapo as the right-sided centre-back, while Luke Fleurs is out. So I think this would be a lot better from a Supersport United perspective, because then when we have a look at it then, they do have the numerical advantage within the heart of midfield. They've got the creativity, because then they've got a midfield 3 that complement each other very well from a midfielder personalities perspective. You've got Don then, who would be the one who's looking then to sit deep and destroy. You've got the energizer in Mokoena, and then you've got the playmaker in Sipho Mbule, and then he still has Ukhrobla and Gabuza. That's what he likes to go with, having 2 men up front, and then off the right-hand side in vertical zone 5, you will have Keenan Phillips, who can go up and down and deliver those crosses. Vertical zone 1, Onisma Basera looking to deliver those crosses. And then you've got Mbule, who can pop up in the left-sided half space, right-sided half space, occupy vertical zone 3, zone 14, and has an eye for goal himself. So if Supersport United were to go about things in this manner, I think there'd be a lot better, and they'd be a lot more penetrative, and they would still then retain certain nuances that Kaitano Tembo loves to see, which is having then his 2 number 10s up front, and then having a solid base of Umukwena and Don within the heart of midfield, and have Mbule playing his favorite position. That's what I would do if I was Kaitano Tembo, but he'll most likely go with a 4-4-2, as that's what he has tended to prefer. And then when we move it on right along, and what I like then about that, I mean, you could even have Lungu as the right wing back, So I just think that a 3-5-2 would be a lot better suited from a personality perspective when you look at the players that Supersport United have. But it will most likely then be a 4-4-2. And when we move on right along then, let's have a look then at Mamelodi Sundowns. So Mamelodi Sundowns then did draw against Cape Town City, which then, with the type of form they're on, to some of their fans, a draw does feel like a bit of a loss, But they still have such a phenomenal record. So in 10 games, they've won 8, they've drawn 2, and they're yet to concede. So all is well with this Mamelodi Sundowns side, as they are the informed team, at times playing some of the most beautiful football to witness within South Africa. So in goals then, they will start with Onyango. So we are looking then at possibly a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2-2. It is quite the hybrid system, which then does have pretty much the foundation and the base of a 4-3-3. So when you have a look at it then, you've got Onyango in goals. As the back 4 then, you'd most likely have Mudau at right back. But the last time out, they did start with Umurena in an advanced position, on the right-hand side. I just think that at right back, they should pick their number 1 starter, as opposed to playing both. Yes, from a tactical perspective, I do understand that against the Cape Town City with Mashego and Ralani, you are trying then to neutralize the left side from Cape Town City, because Cape Town City were strong from vertical zone 1 and vertical zone 2 whenever Ralani does look to come into that half space. But going forward then, I just think that pick one between Murena and Mudau. I think Mudau starts as a right back, as he has been the most consistent. United. The two centre-backs then, you've got Kekana and Lebusa. But just to mention, there is also a Deruk, a player who is very, very good, and a player then who's been very solid both for national team and club. So he could also play in there. And then at left-back, they have started with Divine Lunga. Now, this is a player that has been playing for this Mamelodi Sundowns side. However, I just feel that they need to bring Lila K back into the starting 11. So when you have a look at Lila K, then what he offers them the width, he offers them the quality when it comes then to his delivery, and he's also a player then who's very good at set pieces, the corners, and those free kicks just around the box, outside the 18 area. So I just felt that Sundowns have lacked when it comes then to their creative play, especially in vertical zone 1, which is something that Lila K is well adept at. And Lunga, yes, is a very good player, very energetic. It's just that Lila K is a lot better and ticks a lot more boxes from a qualitative perspective within vertical zone 1 when he keeps that width and he looks to deliver that ball. And I just think that going forward, Lila K is a player that is needed within this Mamelodi Sundowns 11. Going in then right along into the heart of midfield, you've got Jali, you've got Hashim Domingo, who I think will continue because they've been very impressive as a pair, especially Hashim Domingo, as he did win the man of the match. So what I love about Hashim Domingo then, he is the energizer, so he does go box to box. And this is a player then who's growing to become a complete midfielder. And I say that because on the ball, he's very good, very comfortable. He progresses well. He progresses the ball very well. He's also a very creative player and can take shots at goal from range. But what I love about it is that from the other side of the coin, from a qualitative perspective, is that he's improving so much without the ball and against the ball. So this is a player then who's getting stuck in. He's reading the game a lot better. He is also able to institute that press, and he's able then to win the ball back. So it's such a marvel then to watch a player then who's growing to become a complete midfielder, who then is able to tick all the boxes within the heart of midfield. When you look at it then from a build-up play perspective, he can do that within consolidation phase. He can do that, and then working that ball into the final third with the quality and the creativity that he has. So when you have a look at Hashim Domingo, then I love the player that he's turning into, because then he can combat for you within the heart of midfield, win it, and then look to set Mamelodi Sundowns off. And then you've got Andile Jalu, who's been very solid within the heart of midfield for Mamelodi Sundowns. So at times then he will then drop in between the two centre halves. When he reads the game well, whenever play has shifted and certain players have shifted out of position, you will see the Sundowns often institute that positional play. He's able then to read the game very well and then go and fill in at different position, which is very key then when it comes to how Mamelodi Sundowns look to implement that rotational play. And then within this position, when it comes then to the creative player, so I just think that Kutumela will most likely will start there. Then they'll have Zwane and Mayema. I think that they missed that creativity of Mayema the last time out against Cape Town City. I think if you bring Mayema back into the lineup, I think then Mamelodi Sundowns look a lot better, as him and Zwane are starting to form such a deadly and creative duo, because then whenever Mamelodi Sundowns do look to institute that midfield overload, these are two players then who look to get very close to each other and look to combine, and yes, of course, you've also got Hashim Domingo in there, who also then looks to offer that creativity. So I just think then that when you start Uzwane and you start Mayema, it's a lot better from a creative perspective, and then you'll have Kutumela as well, So I just think Mamelodi Sundowns are a lot better then, and they work the ball a lot better in those tight pockets of spaces when then they do look to institute that numerical overload within the heart of midfield. So at times then you will see them keep the width within vertical zone 5 with Mudau, vertical zone 1 with Lila K, and then within the heart of midfield, they'll have the numerical advantage as they do look to overload the right-sided half space, which is vertical zone 2, the left-sided half space, which is vertical zone 2, and then the right-sided half space, vertical zone 4. So the two half spaces. So then you will have a Zwane there. And then you will have a Hashim Domingo, and then you have a Kutumela, and then you have Mayema. And when they do this, then Mamelodi Sundowns look very, very dangerous. They rotate the ball very well. They're able then to keep the pressure within the opposition half. And they are also then able then to penetrate into the final third and look to institute that creative action and create those chances. But it could always change by virtue of the fact that from a depth perspective, they tick so many boxes. So there is Safranco who could start up front within the heart of midfield. There is Mtobi Mvala. There is Mkolisi. Within the creative role, you also have a Serino as well. So this Mamelodi Sundowns side do have a plethora of options, and yeah, very interesting then going into this encounter against Supersport, as it is the Pretoria Derby. I just foresee Mamelodi Sundowns winning this game 2-0. How I see it playing out is that Mamelodi Sundowns will have the lion's share of possession, and they'll just pen Supersport United in their own half. And on the day, I don't foresee Supersport United having the quality, you know, because Sundowns just, yeah, man, they just have too much quality for this Supersport United side. And I just think from a tactical standpoint, Kaitano Tembo does lack in so many areas. And this is a game that Mamelodi Sundowns then will win comfortably 2-0. So, ladies and gentlemen, do let me know at home, what do you make of this encounter? Which players are you looking forward to see? And who do you think will be the key player for Supersport United? Who do you think will be the key player then for this Mamelodi Sundowns side? Thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Luyolo. It is Dstv Premiership action, as it is the Pretoria Derby between Mamelodi Sundowns and Supersport. Babize bonke, signing out.